I think the hardest part why it's hard for people to balance and stay in the middle, is because it's hard to, put all your energy, you're putting energy in your 9 to 5 all day,
Mm-hmm.
and then to come home and there's still a lot more to be done.
What is up, Kings and Queens family? This is your host, King Lapo, in the building. As you guys can see, we have a new setup over here, and thank you guys for all the love and support thus far. But as you guys can see, we got a new setup, and I'd like to introduce a very unique host. He's a project manager, he's a realtor and investor. So let me go ahead and introduce my guy, Mr. Kevin Dibia Views. How you doing, bro?
How you doing, man? How you doing?
How's it feel?
I'm good. It's been good, man. Welcome to the humble abode.
It's a nice house. Man.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you, my guy. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Good to finally make the cut, make the show.
Hey, so what we like to do here on the Kings and Queens podcast is to introduce you to the family. So for those who may not know who you are, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Kevin Dibia. I'm of Nigerian descent. I I was born in New York, and I grew up in North Dallas, like McKinney area, and I came out to Austin kind of after college. I graduated from Texas Tech with my degree in MIS. So, like you said, I am a project manager, and like I said, I moved out to Austin, and from there, kind of got into real estate, kind of later, a little bit after, kind of some of my IT endeavors, and pretty much how I ended up, doing what I'm doing now, kind of doing both of those things kind of at the same time.
Got you. So you were born and raised in New York?
Yeah, born and raised in New York. I lived there for the first 13, 14 years of my life.
Okay. How's that? How would you compare New York to Austin, Texas?
It's different, man. New York is a very fast-paced environment, and although I spent a lot of my childhood there, so I mean I went to the city, but it's not like I didn't really get to experience the city and everything kind of as an elder.
Mm-hmm.
So more when I think about New York, I think about just family, because most of my entire family is there.
Yeah.
So I normally just think of that, and pretty much that's the main thing I really think of. But when I came here, it was a very slower paced environment, and it was different because I didn't know. It was the first time I really moved out here, and I didn't know anyone, no family. It's just my immediate family. That's it. So that was the biggest difference in kind of really comparing the two.
Okay, that's good, man. That's good.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears. Gonna take it back from Texas Tech, and your major that you were at Texas Tech. Is that something that you envisioned yourself pursuing, right off the bat, or?
Yeah, nah. I actually started when I first got to Tech. I was actually gonna do finance. It's because at my time, my dad worked for a financial company.
Okay.
And he worked for one of those companies. It was, kind of like an MTM, like the pyramid structure kind of type of thing. So he was kind of higher on the pyramid. Kind of had a lot of people working for him. So I was really gonna be the one to actually run his business, kind of. So that's what he really did in New York. So I ended up starting doing the finance stuff, and then during it, I think I took an accounting class that I ended up not doing well in.
Really?
And then that's when I kind of had the realization thing, is this something I even want to do? Or am I am I even good at this?
Yeah.
And so that's when I actually reevaluated kind of what I wanted to do. And I know MIS, the tech world, was kind of new at the time. And then it's something that just I guess personally that my family and stuff, they're not big at tech. I mean, I know you grew up in a Nigerian household. So
you already know. Yeah. Trust me, I know. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah. So I think I kind of wanted to just become the guy in that perspective. So that's kind of why I pursued it.
Okay. So when it comes to everyone knows you as I guess Dibia Views now. Where did that come from?
Funny story. I was talking to some guy. His name's King Lava. But I think we was just one of our late night talks, I guess, we was having, and I was actually at this point where I was very much in the transition from just starting to use my social media for more business related,
Gotcha.
going in that direction. So I was in kind of in the chains, and I was like, I definitely need to change because I think I had the usernames that I kind of had at the time were all just stuff I had when I was in like college or like when I first moved out here. A lot of it was like football related too. So I was just like, okay, like it's time to move on type of thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I mean I think those conversations that we had kind of made me finally make the move.
Yeah, and I mean it's catchy. It's
It
catchy.
is, Dibia abuse. I think it got a
Yeah,
little ring to it, and
yeah.
it's starting to make its movement around here. Let's
Gotcha,
put it that
gotcha.
way.
So as a realtor, I guess what's kind of like the hardest thing to kind of learn for beginners. Someone that's just first going into real estate, and they're looking at you as an example, and they want to know, like, I wonder what Kev did to kind of like start off his or jumpstart his kind of journey on that path. What are the things you did to start off?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing. I think your first question was like, I guess, what's the hardest thing?
Mm-hmm.
If lead generation, I would say, is kind of the hardest thing. That's something that they don't teach you that when when you're getting your license, how to really like uh, market yourself and kind of like connect with people, and especially with the older generation of people. If you're a younger agent, so to kind of get those type of clients to kind of be on your side is definitely more of a challenge for the younger agents because one, a lot of those older guys, it's rather they have someone who's been their realtor for years.
Yeah,
You have to kind of convince them that you can work just as hard or you're just as knowledgeable as some of the older guys. And then kind of your second question is kind of like just I guess what do I do? I guess.
yeah. How did, like, in terms of starting off, someone who's first starting off into real estate, how did you get into it in terms of what was the first step that you need to do to become a realtor?
Yeah, like to become a realtor, I mean, there's like six classes that you have to take. So a lot of them is just based on like laws, housing laws. Like so, you learn a lot of like the history and stuff about how things are supposed to go, and a lot of the laws, the documents and stuff that you're supposed to use.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get those classes under your belt, there's two tests you have to take. You have to take a national test and a state test specific to your state. So the national one is kind of all over. So it's like 80 questions. It's all over, and I think the state one is just it actually depends from state to state. So the Texas one is like it's like 30 questions or something, and it's just particular to like Texas real estate.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are the two things you got to do to actually get your license.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Kings and Queens tuning in right now, they're probably looking to see how you were able to make that transition from, your degree in, uh, at Texas Tech, and how you were able to use that to jump into real estate. So what was the point at in your life where you're like, I want to try to do something different than my actual career path. Like, I want to add this onto my resume.
Yeah, I mean, I think I got to a point. I mean, my 9 to 5 was really good. It was helping me. I think I built a level of stability in my life. Was able to get a house, had a car, and everything. And I think looking at other people, kind of seeing kind of what others were doing, although I didn't feel like they were doing as well as I was, they kind of had something that they could call their own. And I was like, it kind of sparked my interest to find something like what's my thing type of thing. And for a while, I always kind of knew that it was real estate. I mean, even my dad was always the type of person to like watch them like HDTV kind of house flipping shows like all the time and everything. And it was something that I actually had asked him like a while ago that I was like I told him I was interested in, but at the time he was just like, you should probably just focus on your degree, type of thing. So it's one of those things I always kind of kept at the back of my mind. But as I was going through my masters, like the tail end of my masters, I was like, okay, yeah, like I can't take this anymore. Like I really want to like step into like the next type of thing in real estate. So that's when I actually decided to actually do it and like get into it.
Okay. And what did your pop say? Or what did he say when you told him you're going to real estate?
He expected it.
He expected it.
Yeah. I mean, I think he kind of knew. I think he kind of knows the trajectory that I'm kind of on. So he definitely. I always kind of let him know like my moves, but he always most of the time he's normally like on board with like everything I'm doing, and he's always like, oh yeah, like Kevin's gonna do it. Like he's gonna do what he says I say I'm gonna do. So yeah, he was all on board. He kind of expected it to eventually happen.
Okay. And you mentioned your masters. What kind of, I guess, someone who goes into to get their master's, then the next step, in my mind, if I feel like you're trying to improve yourself in your 9 to 5 job, trying to take it to the next level, you're a project manager. So how did getting your master's, how did that fit into the criteria of you trying to balance everything together? Because most people just stop at the bachelor's and they'll be like, that's it.
Right, right.
But you kind of took the extra step to do your master's. Why did you want to do that?
Yeah, I mean, because I wanted to, at the time I wanted to be on the top of, as high as I can get, I guess corporate wise, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the trajectory I was thinking. And then being a project manager, I was looking for, like I said, more senior level position, more pay, things along those lines. So definitely I thought the masters would help me. And then my job was actually giving incentives to kind of go back and get it. So I was like, you know, kind of just take the incentive. It's sitting right in front of me. Why not just go ahead and just like go try to do it. So that kind of really pushed me to like, it's like, don't waste the. I kind of saw it as a blessing. Like, don't waste a blessing. Don't waste the opportunity. Just go and do it.
That's good.
So yeah, that's why I went ahead and just did it as well.
Yeah, I think to me, I personally think that like being able to find balance in, I guess, corporate life and then also what you enjoy outside of it is important, because I feel like you can do. I mean, we have this conversation all the time. Like you can do, either one or the other. Like you can go hard on your passion, and then corporate side, you can be like, I'm just gonna focus on my passion, whether it's singing, dancing, doing podcasts, or real estate investing. You can just go in on that one thing, or you can kind of like try to balance it out with your 9 to 5 job, right? But I feel like the majority of people, they just do their 9 to 5 like 100%. Like there's not that many people that actually balance it out. So what would you say to those people who are probably trying to like add something on to their 9 to 5 to do? Would you recommend them to balance things out, or?
Yeah, like I definitely would recommend that. Like actually, like in the spectrum of things, most people, I mean, like you were just saying, I think most people, it's rather they drop everything and they do like their passion. And there's all those people who just focus on just their 9 to 5 and don't worry about their passion because their 9 to 5 is paying them, type of thing. And for me, I actually find peace like literally right in the middle. So like, because my 9 to 5, it's balanced things out for me. Like it's given me like a level of stability. I think the hardest part why it's hard for people to balance and stay in the middle, is because it's hard to put all your energy, you're putting energy in your 9 to 5 all day, and then to come home and there's still a lot more to be done. Like True. You have to focus, you have to go even harder on the other things that you want to do, So that for me, it's just a hard thing to do to balance both of those things out. But for me, I think it's actually the best and safest way for anyone on their journey to get where they want to, where they want to go. I mean, some people like to do the other route, and it's like drop everything and just focus on your passion. But there's a lot of risk involved in that.
Wait, why do you? Why do you think there's risk though? Because like if you're going in all on your passion, like I see where you're coming from, because I think I'm kind of doing the same thing, trying to balance it out. But then sometimes I think to myself, and I'm pretty sure everyone watching right now, they think to themselves like, damn, like I wonder like how far I would be if I just truly went in on my passion, right? Because like really you can't. I can see why it's harder, but it's like you're gonna probably get further on, or you probably get to your goal a little bit faster.
You'll probably get to your goal faster. Yeah. I think if you're going to do that, I think you have to have a level of understanding that you're gonna struggle.
And what sense?
And I say that struggle is, there's a lot of people, they drop their 9 to 5 for their passion, and it's like if you don't grind hard like every day, then maybe some days you don't eat, you don't sleep, things. I don't think this route is a very you need to grind in order, but you can get to your journey or your goal, I think, faster than all the other routes if you do drop everything and you just focus on what you want to do.
Yeah.
But like I said, there's just more risk, and like I was saying, on the other side of the spectrum and just focusing on your 9 to 5, it's like you're never going to get where you want to go because you're capped.
True.
And then there's kind of where we're at, where we're kind of balancing both, where it's like we're growing, but we're not. There's just a lot less risk, I guess. For me, I would love to kind of drop my 9 to 5 and just do real estate and all my investing full time. But I know I'm just not ready for that yet.
When do you think you will be ready for that stage to where you get?
Look, man, the figures, everything, and the houses and everything is starting to add up. Yeah, no, that time is definitely gonna
It's
come.
coming. It's on the
Yeah,
way.
like I say,
Yeah.
it's coming. Like I say, I'm growing, but I'm very much not struggling while I'm growing. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I'm
I
very
got
much
you.
relaxing, trucking life.
This guy. This guy.
I'm enjoying life while I'm really working every day to
Okay.
kind of get to where I'm going.
Okay. So, Kings and Queens tuning in right now. They're looking like, okay, like Kev, he's a realtor, project manager. He has everything, pretty set. It looks like you have everything figured out. Would you say you have everything figured out right now, or you have like a solid plan in your head in terms of where you want to be next 5, 10 years from now?
Do I have everything figured out? No. Do I have a plan for everything? Kind of. And my plans are normally. I think what I do that's a little bit different than
Yeah.
others is that I don't plan like extremely into detail about what I'm gonna do. Like I always leave a door open for opportunity because you don't know
Yeah.
what can happen. Like so, I mean, I guess I kind of like snippet off what I'm thinking in my head. Like what I'm thinking in my head is like one me as just the real estate agent, the person that helps other people, find sell houses and stuff. I'm always gonna do that because I feel like that's my. I put it as like it's kind of like my gift to the world. Like, and that's like another reason why I got into real estate is because with my 9 to 5, I didn't feel like I was really helping any like people. Like it was just for me,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I wasn't getting that human interaction with people where I'm like I'm helping them get to a better level than they used to be. I just felt like I was just making money. So
Mm.
so part of the reason why I wanted to get into real estate was because of that too. Like so I that's something that I know that I'm always gonna be doing. I guess the decision I've tried to make in my head is whether I'm gonna focus more as an investor, and I say like investor as in doing burn investments, buying and flipping houses, Airbnb rentals, stuff like that. Is that going to be like my bread and butter, or am I going to be more kind of on the broker side and you know have my own brokerage, have my own agents, name stuff like that. So or try to do both. So it's like really that's kind of my plan in my head.
Mm.
But I guess, like I say, not having everything figured out is in deciding which one I'm going to do more of, because I'm probably going to end up doing both. But just which one I'm going to focus more of my attention of, and the other one's like kind of secondary type of thing.
Okay. I like just to piggyback off what you said earlier. Your 9 to 5, you said you didn't think that you were, I guess, helping enough people. Why is that such a big factor? I know they have the saying like, if you help enough people get what they want, you know, it kind of you're gonna get that same energy back, right? You're gonna get what you want in a sense, if it's for the right reasons. You have I guess not good head on your shoulder, but you have good intentions per se for the other person. It's kind of like that energy is gonna come back to you. Why do you think that's so like important to you to do that?
Yeah, like when I was just having human interaction with people, uh, you talk to people and they'll be like, what does Kev have to offer type of thing. And at the
Mm-hmm.
time, I didn't feel like I was just a guy that was just making a lot of good money in corporate type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I think the energy that you get and the feeling that you get when you're someone who's helping others, like putting other people on game, is something that I wasn't doing in the past that I'm like very much doing now. Like
Gotcha.
being that person
Yeah.
to help people type of thing. So, um, and like you said, I think it'll bring back tenfold, later, putting people on doing that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, something definitely I'm gonna continue to do. That's why I
Okay.
want to do it.
So in real estate side of things, uh, doing real estate, helping people, buy houses or sell their home, and then you have the investing part to it. So we're gonna later touch into the investing side, but right now let's go into like buying and selling.
Okay.
So someone, say I'm looking for a house, right? And I'm looking to, maybe get a house that's like maybe 300K, right? 300, 400K.
Okay. Okay.
Hypothetically speaking, right?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So I'm looking for a house. I come to you. I'm like, hey, like, I need help, with this, this, and this. How's your approach to to someone like that? Like, are you gonna ask like, okay, like what's your credit score looking like, or like what kind of loans you could be eligible for?
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing, yeah, the biggest thing I always like to start out with is kind of the price. I think that's the question I normally get the most too. Is
Mm-hmm.
like, and I think that's the question that most people want to know when they're buying the house. Like, okay, how much is this?
Nah,
how,
thanks.
how much
Yeah,
is this gonna cost?
yeah, yeah.
And I think I'm not a lender or mortgage person by any means, but I use kind of my expertise, and I guess I use my expertise that I learned when I first bought a house
Mm-hmm.
when I was 23. Um, that to help other people out. So when they say if you're coming to me and you're asking me you want a house for 300, 400K, I'm like, okay, have you been pre-approved? Have you talked to a lender? What's your credit looking like? Around that price point. Do you have an idea about what your mortgage is going to be? Do you know what the tax rate is in the place that you want to be?
Mm-hmm.
Questions along those lines. So I'll get those questions about where kind of they want to be at. And then normally, after that, it's very much more like, hey, where, I guess, area wise, where you want to be at. What's your bed, bath? What's your feel? You want brick on the outside of the house? Are you picky? Like type of the things like getting those, I guess, things that you like personally that you would want in your home type of
Mm-hmm.
thing. I guess like size wise and stuff. And then from there, the biggest thing is to try to get you pre-approved to make sure you could say you want a house for 350, but is someone gonna give you
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, is
Yeah.
someone gonna give you that
True.
type of money
Okay.
type of thing. So yeah, the first thing definitely I always try to do is try to get people pre-approved. I got a guy in Dallas that he's been helping me out a lot, so I normally refer all my clients to him. So yeah, get your pre-approved is like literally the first step, and then after that, I literally take over from there with the finding the
Okay.
house. Yeah.
Okay. And what kind of credit score does someone need to have to
I
be in a position to buy a
right.
house, right?
I say this.
Credit score and like uh how much money they got put down.
Yeah, I say this and laugh because yeah, the biggest things I always try to stress to buyers is yeah, one, like your credit, and if you have if you have a 620 or above, you're pretty good money. Like you could probably get qualified for something. Um, but I also stress out your DTI, your debt to income ratio as well,
Hmm.
because I know some people they have great credit, but their debt to income they just don't make as much as they have expenses. And expenses are not it's not everything that's an expense. Like your phone bill isn't going to count, or your the TV service that you're paying for doesn't count. Like I'm talking about credit is in like things that are literally on your credit, like your medical bills, car payment, student loans. That's a big one for like people like around in our generation. Um, those type of things that hit your credit. Um, if you're not making enough and those expenses are high, there's like a percentage rate that most mortgage lenders use, to qualify you. So those two things are mainly like I would say the biggest things to make sure that you have in check before you try to go get a pre-approval from a lender. So 620 credit score or above, and then just make sure your DCI and your debt to income is efficient. I would
Mm-hmm.
say, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And that's with everybody, right? The credit score matters above everything
Yeah,
before.
I mean, unless you got cash, like you got cash to pay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Unless you got cash, yeah, those things matter.
Okay, okay. And then say, I guess like an entrepreneur, someone who doesn't have how can I say, they have their own business and they don't have like, what's it called, W
Yeah,
4,
they're on W two.
W2s, yeah,
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 those are the 1099 people.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
tax statements. You need like 2 years
Okay.
of tax. I mean, most times, yeah, even with your W two people, they want 2 years. But I know some people, you could get a pre approval letter because I've had some clients. They got, let's say you just got a job and they gave you your pre approval or your letter that's saying how much you're gonna make.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most lenders will even just take that. Like for some reason, I don't know why the lenders
Really?
take the safer route and like.
Yeah,
But if
yeah.
you're a business owner, yeah, most times they want at least like 2 years tax statement saying, hey, like this is how much I made. So
Mm.
those are the barbers and the electricians and
Mm-hmm.
like those type of people that yeah, just to make sure that you have those that on check. And also, I know that a lot of people like to write off a lot of stuff on their taxes.
Yeah.
But for those people who are doing that type of stuff, make sure for the first 2 years you show that you've made a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
when they see that, they'll be like, okay,
Okay.
he's made this much, we can qualify him.
Okay. Okay. So I was talking to someone in corporate the other day, and I was telling him about investing and what I thought about investing. I trade on the side. For Kings and Queens family, not we don't know. And then I feel like investing is very important. I think we always had a conversation back to back: business owner, investor, self-employed or employed.
Right.
Those four quadrants. And I feel like the best quadrants to be in is business owner and investor.
Right.
Right. And then why would we say it's because probably like time is a big thing. Like if you're self-employed or you're employed, a lot of your time is not truly yours. Correct. As opposed to an investor and a business owner, you kind of like make that time for yourself and you don't have to worry about somebody else or being on the clock, right? So I was having this conversation with this guy and he was talking about real estate investing. He's like, yeah, like I tried it, but there's not a lot of money in it right now. It kind of fluctuates. At one point you can kind of be making bread, and then another point you're kind of like down bad. And he said like it's probably not something that he would look into. He prefers kind of like maybe stocks, long term kind of investments, or maybe if you buy the land, but he in terms of like the investing side to like flipping houses,
right?
He doesn't really see the benefits of that as opposed to what what would you say? What would you say to his kind of thought process of that?
I mean, I don't know this gentleman, but no, I think with real estate investing, I mean, yeah, there's definitely some risk. There's risk in it. I mean, for sure. Like if you're not finding the right deals, or if you're not flipping the property right, and things that flipping a house, it actually you can't just go in there and just fix it. Like you can't just go in there and just fix anything. There's a certain style and look that you need to make the house in order to really gain the appreciation that you're looking for. So it's definitely more. It's more difficult than I think most people we make it seem.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, with him, I'm not sure. I guess his experience or whatnot, but I guess the first thing you really do is you really have to, if you really want to get into real estate investing, you have to very very much do your homework. And you have to very very much like learn, the styles and the way the houses look. You gotta really really do your homework to find like the right deals too, because a bad deal can, yes, you could definitely lose money with a bad deal, or like purchasing a home that you can't, it's just extremely hard to fix up, or you have to put too much money into it. Happens all the time. So I think from the respect that he was coming from, maybe that's why, because there is like risk in real estate investing. But it's like you're saying, the more you do, the better you get at it. The flip I did earlier this year, I mean, I made money off it. I didn't make as much as I thought I was gonna make, but I made some. But I didn't let that like deteriorate me or kind of stop me. From like continuing to do it, because I know a lot of real estate investors, and that's all they do, and I need that type of life.
Wait, so you believe that you could become a full-time realtor, real estate investor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yes.
So I guess it comes down to like a mindset thing, for people who can't see that, because like the ups and downs of that kind of like lifestyle is a lot more risky than your normal corporate or 9 to 5 or whatever. Because like for example, the market right now in Austin, we're in Austin right now, and the market's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's high.
Right.
Yeah.
So people are having trouble like trying to buy their own home, selling maybe not too much, but trying to buy a house is very difficult.
Right.
So I guess those might be the ups and downs that people might look at as being like a realtor.
Of course.
Why doesn't that like deter you, or like make you think like maybe I should probably have something as a backup, because when things like this happens, it's kind of difficult.
Well, the way I look at it is that, I mean, in anything you do, besides kind of like the 9 to 5 type of rat race, there's kind of risks in everything.
Okay.
So, as part of real estate, that's just a part of it. I think it's a part of the lifestyle. And as a real estate agent or even an investor, you have to just understand these things. Once you have an understanding about the market, like for example, like you said, it's extremely high. That doesn't mean that you can't make money in this extremely high market. Even flipping homes, you could still make money in this extremely high market. But you have to, one, do your research, and then two, definitely understand the market changes and how when things are coming and how things are going, type of thing.
Mm.
So it's definitely it's more work than people think it is than just kind of putting your money into a stock and then you're like, okay, well, I'm just gonna wait for this type of thing.
Yeah. Facts. Okay. And then one thing I wanted to touch base on, you talked back to your house that you flipped, right? How was that, like the process? Like describe the process on going. Well, like how much work does it? Is it just something that you just look at a house like a beat up house and you're like, okay, like this looks like a fixer upper kind of thing. I'm just gonna get in, fix up the make the kitchen, living room, put some hardwood floor on it, update them amenities, and then boom, that's it. Is it like that easy, or there's much more that goes on behind the scenes?
No,
It's
a lot more than that. It's a lot more than that. Yeah, so I started an LLC, and I have a partner in San Antonio. So me and her started, did this flip. We were looking in San Antonio for kind of like a cosmetic only, because I think that's where we're kind of trying to be at. Cosmetic only flip, so that, things that just relate to kind of like inside of the house, like the kitchen needs updating, or the living room, stuff along those lines. So we found, we used hard money. And for those who don't know, like hard money is pretty much a lender that will give you money to buy the house, and as well they'll give you money to help fix it. They'll give you a budget to fix it, but your interest rates are extremely high. So if you're going to use hard money, it's very much a get in, fix it, and get out of the loan as soon as possible. Yeah. So we did that. We ended up finding a house that that we thought was good. The thing about most of these places is that you do a walkthrough of the place, and the thing is that you normally walk through it with some type of, your contractor or whatever. So we did like a walkthrough, kind of saw things that we were gonna do, budgeted everything out. I think with every flip or whatever investment that you're gonna do, I think the biggest thing that we learned is to always leave money or room for unexpected things that can happen. Yeah. So for this particular flip, that things that we didn't really know was that there was like it wasn't exactly just a cosmetic flip. There was like some HVAC stuff that needed to be fixed. There was some plumbing stuff. And there was some foundation stuff.
See, that costs a lot.
I'm thinking, when you budget everything out, I'm like, I'm about to make a killing. Like after it's over, you start to add in all the rest of that stuff, and then also it just took. We put it right back on the market, like last year, like November and December. For most realtors, around that time is like a slow season, because you have Thanksgiving, you have Christmas, it's cold. People don't want to really. It's not as active as it is normally, like during the summertime. Yeah. So we held on for the house for like longer than I thought it was gonna be. And like I said, you're paying the hard money loan with like extremely high interest. So every month we're like losing profit. So we finally sold it like around like early February. So like finally got like paid, but it wasn't as much as I originally had thought. So I even think that could have deteriorated some people, if they were doing a flip. But for me, I just seeing the process and understanding the process and learning more about it, and then knowing that the more efficient you get at it, the better you'll get at it, and the more successful you'll be. So that's kind of how that flip ended up going.
Do you see yourself going into, I guess, the Airbnb kind of market? So like a house that you do flip, where you kind of like improve and you put that on like the Airbnb and try to make money off of that?
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of what you gotta use. Location's gotta be a big thing for that. So I mean, you want to be, if you're by like a lot of good employers, you're around a lot of businesses, and then you also gotta look at Airbnb and kind of see what the rentals are kind of going for around that area. But yeah, definitely something I've thought about. Like I'm trying to see what kind of like my bread and butter, in even terms of, that's why I said I don't have like a concrete plan. But I do want to touch kind of in everything. So at least do one of something. So like, I've done the fix and flip. I want to do a burr investment. So that's a like buy, rehab, rent, and then refinance, and then repeat. So I
Okay.
want to do that again. I want to do one of those because I haven't really done. I did like a fix and flip, so we just like fixed it, put it right back on the market. We just trying to get our money back, but I want to like. A lot of people don't like burn investments because you put all your money into the house and you're not. I mean, you're gonna get the rental money coming back,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
little money coming
yeah.
back, but like the big down payment that you put, you're not gonna see that for a
That's
while.
going.
And some people
That's
don't
going.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
some people want to get their money back fast, but like, but I think that way, like the burn investments, that's like for me the number one way to like to succeed in real estate investing. But I do want to touch in everything and kind of see, okay, what's going to be my bread and butter, what's going to be like my main thing. So I'm thinking that the bird thing is going to be my main thing, but I do want to touch like see how Airbnb works. I know some people they're doing the short term rental thing. They're doing that with apartments.
True.
I think that's a good idea too, but like I just don't like the idea that I don't get the equity money because you're really renting an apartment and then you're re-renting it out to people.
Yeah.
And you might get a lot more, like you might get more cash flow coming out, but you're never gonna get the equity money, the big money when you sell. There's nothing to sell pretty much. So I'm not really. I don't know if I like the idea about it, but I would try it just to see how things will go. But I'm gonna try to touch every type of investing and then kind of see what's best for me.
Okay. So we're gonna switch gears a little bit. Now, knowing what you know now, and then if you could, talk to your younger self and be like, damn, this is what, you would tell your younger self back then on how to improve or whatever. You bought your first house at how old?
23.
Damn, 23. Damn.
Yeah.
Bought a whole crib at 23?
Yeah, I graduated and then it took me like a year.
Okay.
I was pretty focused at the time to get it.
Okay, so you got a house at 23. Obviously you saved probably hella bread for a down payment.
Yeah.
Your credit score at that time was probably decent, good.
It was very high.
It was very high. Okay.
Yeah.
So what would you tell younger Kev back then? The do's and don'ts. What would you tell yourself like, damn, I probably should have done this differently when buying my first house.
Yeah.
Like you do everything perfectly. Obviously.
Two things.
Yeah.
The first thing, which is like small, but I'm not even sure I would even change it, is like I did put down like extremely like big down payment. And I mean the size of my house is like it's like a good size. What I could have done is actually I could have like split my down payment and probably got two houses. So like to start. Okay. So that's something I think about it, but then I also think like, would I be comfortable in like a smaller, two smaller houses? So like it's like kind of goes back and forth in my head, but I don't know if it's something that I would necessarily like change. I think the biggest thing that I would do, and it like eats me up alive every day, is literally just to start earlier. Like
buy the crib earlier?
No, not buy the crib earlier. Just like start. Like get my real estate license earlier. If I had got it around that time that I bought my house, yeah, I feel like I'd be a different person.
Wait, okay. What were you doing? During the time where because obviously you've been thinking of being a realtor for a long time. So what was stopping you from like, doing it?
Man, I just had so much family stuff going on back home. Yeah, so like a lot of my time was, after I kind of bought the house here, yeah, I just had so much family stuff going on, and then it was just the incentive with the masters. So really, it was like
gotcha.
masters, get masters, help family, keep everyone stable. Yeah, so it was like I was almost kind of in a way like kind of putting what I really wanted to do like on hold. So like if I could have. Yeah, like I said, that's the biggest thing. If I could have like started early, because in a way, like when I first bought the house, like I was kind of doing it. I was kind of being a realtor for everyone that I knew without really being a realtor. Like, because I bought it and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, like you bought a house!" Like, how did I was getting all the questions and everything and all, and I was giving everyone all the details. Like, I even went out with some like colleagues at work that I worked with at the time just to go like look at their house, like inspect their house, things that they should look over. Like stuff like that. So like I was kind of already doing some of the work. Yeah, like so that's really where I was like, okay, like it really got to a point like after finishing my master's, because I'm very much of if I start something and I progress along like enough in something, like I'm finishing it. Like there's no like it's being
Yeah,
complete.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like so I think I was like more than halfway done with my master's at the time before like I started getting those thoughts in my head
Mm-hmm.
like, man, I really want to just do like get my license already. Um, so yeah, I think it was like my last semester. I actually was doing both. So I was like studying for my real estate license and finishing out my master's. And I literally like graduated with my master's, and then like a month later I got my license. Like went to go take the test.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. And on top of that, you also have the PMP.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everyone tuning in, you work for a tech company, right?
Yeah.
Uh, how long do you see yourself working? You know, the 9 to 5 role before you? Is it just something that you probably have to have enough money and enough flips that you've done just to be comfortable to take that step, or you kind of have like a specific age where you're like, nah, this is it, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, for me, yeah, I definitely want to make sure that my investing is at a place, and then also me being an agent. 'Cause those are two things. Yeah, understand that like it's kind of those are two separate incomes if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to make sure that if those things are high enough that it's like really replacing like kind of the 9 to 5 thing, then yeah, like I'd be okay to leave. I just always make sure like why I have my master's and my PMP is like, anything happens, I can very much easily go back very easily. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm always like prepared and I have the experience and I have all the licenses. So it's like anything happens, I'm going because I'm very much the project manager in me is always like do what you got to do to mitigate the risk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So I always try to make sure that all risks are mitigated before I like super jump into something. And if things go wrong, I'm just like, oh well, I expected this. I can fix it
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. So
Okay. So, you know, staying focused. I feel like that's like a big thing when you're embarking on a journey that maybe majority of people aren't doing. You kind of have to. You can't really be doing the same thing that everyone else is doing. If there's something
facts.
going on, you probably have to stay inside and do a little bit more work or whatever whatever it is. But where do you see you know I guess what does it take? What kind of focus does it take to be able to do all these things? Is it Do you think you have that focus because of maybe how you're brought up, or it's just been instilled in you at a young age? Do you have like a mentor? Like,
I think it's a combination of two things. Like one, yeah, I think I've always had it. Like I've always been a little different. So I guess just growing up, especially around like my father, who's had like extreme focus like that, I feel like I've always had that too. So like I think the second thing, and I think the biggest thing that has really like I guess propelled me to this to kind of where I'm at right now is the company that you keep,
hmm,
the people that you hang
people
around.
around you? Yeah.
Yeah, that's really been like I could say it's been like the driving force to kind of keep me going. Um, and because I think at the time, at a younger age, I mean, like I said, I bought my house at 23, and not a lot of people are thinking about doing stuff like that. In college, people not they're not thinking about that. They're thinking about going to Padre. They're thinking about, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just it's
Was that pressure for you, like doing that stuff, and your peers weren't doing it? Was like people looking at you like, okay, like Kev doing too much,
No, I think
or
at the time, I think because I had so much family issues going on back home, I felt like my back was against the wall. So like, and it literally got to a point where I think it was like my senior year of college. I didn't know if I was gonna have a home to go back to. So like, it was like, okay, like Kev, like you gotta make sure that like you and everyone else is good.
mm,
Like very much a take care of yourself and like take care of your people type of thing. So while other people were kind of going around having fun, like that was like the main focus in my head. But the crazy thing is that I would still go out, I would still have fun, I'll do what I had to do. But at the back of my mind, I was always like, okay, like I need to like stay focused because I always felt like my back was against the wall. So yeah, it was that, and then now I think things are different because it's like I hang around people who are trying to progress similar to how I am. So it makes it very easy. Like things kind of flow for me very easily in terms of like conversation with the people I'm with now. You already know you being one of them. I ain't gotta even shout you
my
out.
guy.
You already, yeah,
Yes,
you already
sir.
know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that. It's like I think everyone has kind of grown to that level. I think before, it was almost kind of like a stress. Like I felt. like around people. It's like I'd be around people, but I feel so different. I feel
Mm.
like why am I the only person who wants to, do stuff like this? And it was actually to like my detriment, because in college, I mean, like, bro, if you think about it, like we went to the same school. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
People
Like,
don't know we went to
yeah,
we
people
both
people don't know
yeah,
that we went to the same school. But
yeah,
like I said, at that time in school, I at the time I felt like I had like these friends. I'm like, okay, these are my friends, and like I don't need no one else type of thing.
mm-hmm.
And um, yeah, I very much like didn't go out of my way to kind of like meet new people or like get close to other people because I felt like, oh, you're not trying to do what I'm doing. You're just trying to just you're someone who I could just hang around with, just like have fun, like, or we could just, but
Yeah,
like there'll always be a gap because I got so much stuff going on back home. I'm focused. Like, but the
yeah,
thing is, I think, like I said, it's to my detriment because you look at some of the people who came from our school, like what they're doing now.
yeah,
If
yeah.
I connected with them then, you see what I'm saying?
True, true,
So
true.
yeah, I always
Yeah,
think about that too. To always kind of now, especially now, a lot of our generation now is starting to get to that point. Like they're starting to get focused too as well.
yeah,
So it's like
yeah.
I don't really feel like I'm alone.
I just touch base on the network thing. I think like it's very key to network with people, right? Like they say, like your network is your net worth, right? The more people you know, the more people that can kind of like help you to get to where you want to go to, is gonna that same energy is gonna come back to you. If they're on the same type of mindset, same type of time that you are,
Right.
it's good to like, even though you want to keep your circle small per se of like solid friends, but when you network with people that are probably doing the same thing as you, or maybe something different that you probably want to venture off into, I feel like it's good to like keep in touch with those kind of people because you never know what's gonna happen in the future. Like
Right.
if you need that person's help, or they might be able to help you with what you're doing. I feel like it's really good. So in that aspect, I even myself, like I probably say like it's good to probably kind of be more out there in a sense, and even and just to touch on that, like I feel like it comes with social media too, because like social media is a way where you can kind of like reach out to people and things like that without having to like leave your crib or leave the comfort of your environment or whatever, but you can
Right.
still connect with people like that. So what do you think with social media, how has that kind of like elevated your career in real estate? Like has it been you know positive in that aspect, or has it been negative? Do people look at you like, I don't know if I want to go with him, he's probably kind of young, or he might not know more about real estate, or you think you're using your platform in a positive way for real estate?
Nah, definitely using it. I think I've been using it really, really well going forward. Like, and it's actually social media has actually brought me my most clients.
For real?
Like, yeah,
Okay.
like Facebook and Instagram specifically. I think because before I wasn't even like there was a time I wasn't even using Facebook. I just stopped using it. Like I just had it. It was literally just collecting dust. And then when I started the real estate stuff, 'cause I know a lot of the older generations on Facebook. I always like base it like older generations on Facebook, newer generations on Instagram.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I try to balance out both. And I try to and I the things I post on each of them, I normally try to relate to the generation. So in terms of Instagram, they kind of want to see like in a way it's like they want to see you kind of doing well in a way, seeing that the things that you're doing are working. So I think that's one thing that kind of helps touch our generation. If you see someone doing really well, you always want to ask, well, what does he do? What are you doing?
True,
Right?
true, true.
And you want to start to like pick their brain. As in the older generation, the main thing they like to see is information when it comes to real estate. So I post a lot of just information, things, what's going on in the market, what's coming new, what's coming next. They like to see that type of stuff. So that's kind of helped me kind of start to kind of get the older clients, the clients with the families, with the kids, like stuff like that.
It must be hard to get older clients though, right? Because like they
Way
probably looking at
harder,
you
yeah,
like,
way harder than
what does
getting
this
the,
guy know?
yeah.
Like, how
It,
much experience does he really have to, sell me a house, or like get me to help me buy a house or stuff like that?
yeah, I
Like right
mean,
now, I think you probably more tailored to, people our age, right?
definitely.
But
And
you want to, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I want to be able to tailor and be able to, kind of touch, all generations. It's just with the older generation, it's a little bit more difficult because you have to think that these people, they've probably had multiple houses already, and they probably already have a guy.
Mm,
You see, and that's part of real estate. It's like
building that
why
relationship.
why yeah why I'm more inclined to focus on the younger generation
Mm-hmm.
is because I know. you touch one person one time in the younger generation,
Mm-hmm.
you could be their guy for life.
Just it's
So
like a barber.
it's just like a barber. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
It,
not gonna go to any barber if
you
you've
just
been
yeah,
to one
you're really not
like
gonna go
someone.
through.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're not gonna go to any barber,
yeah,
and people normally like refer and stuff like that too. So like you definitely do want to make sure you do a good job,
yeah.
like in the process, or whatever, like make it as easy as
Mm-hmm.
possible. But yeah, that's why I normally try to focus on the younger generation because I know it'll carry out, going
Yeah,
forward, and that's why most of the successful real estate agents who are older, that's exactly what they've done. They're just older now, and some of them have those same clients that
mm-hmm.
they helped when they were 10, 15 years ago. They're still
Mm,
going to them, as like, oh no, that's my guy,
yeah,
like type of thing.
yeah, yeah.
So, and sometimes it's just hard. It's hard for a new person to come to me trying to convince
Mm-hmm.
them to come to me when it's like this has been my guy for 15 years. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's why.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So just to round things up, I have one more question for you, and that is, if you were to, have a conversation with anybody in the world, you know, alive right now, who would it be and why?
Um. Wow, that's a hard one. I can only choose just one.
Yeah, just one. Yeah,
Okay. I would probably choose Barack Obama.
Barack Obama. Okay,
Yeah.
that's that coming.
Yeah. It's just because of learning a little bit more about his story and about how he grew up. Um, I would just like to talk to him, I guess, literally just about how his story and how he really you came up into one of the biggest positions that we know
Mm-hmm.
today, type of thing. So I just think talking to him and picking his brain, and especially about him, just listen, like him, I guess, learning how to bring people together. If you haven't noticed, like, especially during his presidency,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think he did a lot of bringing people together in a time where people were like fighting and trying
true.
to, break each other apart. So that I would definitely like to discuss more about that with him.
Yeah, that's a strong trait. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. And for people tuning in, if you could give one piece of advice to them on the Kings and Queens family watching, what would it be?
Uh, One piece of advice, it's kind of like two parts, is to first thing is that you are exactly where you need to be right now in your life.
Hmm.
So I know some people, we're all in different places and different stages, and I know some people feel like they're not where they're supposed to be and they're trying to grind to get where they're at. But I guess coming from me, I think that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Just keep grinding, and to always the second part of that is to make sure that the company that you keep is strong and important.
Okay.
Because those things will drive you.
Hmm. Sheesh. Sheesh. Boy, I had to leave it like that.
Hey,
With the
man,
less.
don't have me
Got
up,
some
man.
window, got some wisdom on there.
Boy,
I know you had it in you, bro.
Bro, I'm trying, man.
Yeah, nah, I like that, man. And I just want to say, everything you're doing, bro. Like, it's good to get you finally on the Kings and Queens podcast.
Man. Look, I've been waiting. I've been waiting a long time, bro.
Hey, I know. Keep being great, bro. You know what I'm saying? Keep investing. Keep selling houses, buying houses. I see big things in your future, bro. And we talk all the time. We always have these conversations. So I know, sky's not the limit. It's just the view.
That's
you
right.
feel me?
It's just the
It's
view.
just the view. You feel me?
Already. You know I'm here.
I know. So, just to close out, where can people find you at, like your handles? I don't know if you want to put your email out there.
No, I mean all my handles. Like I'm pretty much on every social media. All Dibia views, like all of it. So Facebook is just my first name and last name, but I do have a page on Facebook as well. Like Dibia Views is like my real estate page. So everything is Dibia Views. So I kept it nice and simple for everyone to find you, boy.
Cool. All right. And with that, Kings and Queens family, this episode with Mr. Dibia Views himself, realtor, investor, project manager, and we out. Closing out. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for staying tuned, tuning in, and you guys can find this podcast on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, YouTube coming really really soon. So yeah, oh my God.
Yes, sir. Yeah.